Hey y'all, welcome back and today we'll be looking at economic growth for Cape Economics. Let's get into it. Now, what is economic growth? Economic growth is defined as an increase in a country's productive capacity identifiable by a sustained rise in real national income or output over a period of years. Or economic growth could be defined as the long-term growth in the productive capacity of a country over the long term. It's a long-term concept. Economic growth and economic development are obviously closely related, however, they are very distinct. A country is enjoying economic development when it is experiencing economic growth as defined above, and at the same time is undergoing major structural changes in its economy. For example, a shift from agriculture to manufacturing, or from tourism to a more stable sector, for example, healthcare. Economic growth is quantitative in nature, whereas economic development is qualitative in nature. Important variables that need to be considered when looking at the difference between growth and development. We have health status, literacy, crime situation, environmental pollution, and quality of life. Sustainable growth. Sustainable economic growth means a rate of growth that can be achieved and maintained without negative economic effects for future generations. A fast rate of economic growth may exhaust resources and create environmental problems for future generations. For example, depletion of non-renewable resources such as petrochemicals and bauxite. Sustainable growth is about looking beyond short-term gains and considering the long-term implications of economic decisions. Sustainable growth should benefit all segments of society, reducing income inequality and promoting social inclusion. Note well that sustainable growth is a multidimensional concept, and achieving it requires a collective efforts of governments, businesses, individuals, and society. Sustainable development. When considering economic growth, there must be a balance between the current level of economic growth with the well-being of future generations. This is an intergenerational issue and raises the whole notion of sustainable economic development. Sustainable economic development refers to the development of today that does not compromise the level of development of tomorrow. Three pillars of sustainable development are economic sustainability, promoting economic growth, innovation, and productivity while ensuring long-term sustainability and avoiding excessive resource depletion. Social sustainability, fostering social equity, inclusivity, and well-being for all members of society, addressing poverty, education, healthcare, and reducing inequalities. Environmental sustainability, protecting and preserving natural resources, reducing pollution, and mitigating climate change to maintain the health of the planet. Determinants of economic growth. We have the growth in the size and quality of the labor force, the growth of its capital stock, that is increase in investments, technical progress, that is implementation of technology, and the discovery of new high-value resources and land, for example, oil and gas. The growth in size and quality of the labor force, which is achieved through investment in training, health, productivity, and safety conditions of work. Furthermore, highly skilled workers can adopt new technologies and innovative techniques, leading to more effective or efficient production processes. A growing labor supply may enable a community to produce bigger combinations of goods and services and so bring about an outward shift in its production possibility frontier. This in turn can lead to an increase in output per head and as a result, a potential improvement in social welfare. that is, consumer and producer surplus, is being maximized. The growth in the size and the quality of the labor force itself will depend on following: the natural increase in the population, migration, the labor force participation rate. The natural increase in the population. This natural increase occurs when there is an excess of birth rate over the death rate in a given time period, which is influenced by medical facilities, the quality of people's homes, and prenatal care and contraceptive advice. Migration. This refers to the movement of people from one geographical location to another, either within a country, intermigration across international borders, international migration, and is largely determined by the degree of labor mobility. Net migration will tend to increase a country's labor force, while net emigration will tend to reduce it. And the participation rate. Participation rate is a portion of the economically active population to the total population. A rise in this rate would amount to an increase in the size of the labor force. Conversely, a decline in the participation rate leads to a larger labor force as more people enter or render the workforce. Growth in the capital stock investment. That is a determinant of economic growth. Capital stock refers to the total amount of physical and financial capital available in an economy, including machinery, equipment, infrastructure, and other productive assets. We have an expansion of a country's capital stock through net investments, just like an expansion of its labor force increases the country's stock of productive resources and so represents another possible source of economic growth. Investments enable more consumer goods to be produced in the future. It requires refraining from some current consumption so that resources can be channeled into the production of various forms of capital. In other words, savings are required for investment to occur. Technical progress. Technical progress refers to advancements and improvements in technology, production methods, and innovation that leads to increased productivity and efficiency in the economy. Technical advancement or progress can take the form of improved techniques of production, improved machinery, inventions, or improvements in education. In other words, it is anything that improves the quality of the capital stock or labor force. The effective is to raise the productivity of capital and labor by the same proportion. The discovery of high-valued resources, such as oil, minerals, and precious metals, can significantly impact economic growth. Countries with abundant and valuable natural resources often experience increased revenue through exports, leading to economic expansion. Governments can generate substantial revenue through taxation and royalties on the extraction and export of valuable resources. Furthermore, these funds can then be reinvested in public infrastructure and social programs, further stimulating economic growth. However, it is essential to manage the discovery of new high-valued resources and learn responsibly. Additionally, over-reliance on a single resource can create vulnerabilities in the economy, leading to a phenomenon known as the resource curse. Overall, proper governance, prudent investment, and diversification of the economy are valuable to ensure sustainable growth and inclusive economic growth. Economic growth models. Neoclassical economics. We have under that endogenous growth model and exogenous growth model. Difference between the two models. Endogenous growth refers to economic growth that arises from within the economy itself. It is driven by factors such as investments in human capital, technological progress, research and development, and innovation. In endogenous growth theory, the focus is on policies and institutions that promote self-sustaining growth over time. Exogenous growth refers to economic growth that originates from external factors or influence beyond the economy's control. These factors might include changes in population, natural resource discovery, and technological advancements from other countries. In exogenous growth theory, the economy is considered more passive as growth is determined by factors outside of its immediate control. Note well that the difference between endogenous growth and exogenous growth lies in the source of long-term economic expansion. And that is it, guys. See you all next time.